Awesome.
All right, so it's been a long time since we got to do a podcast. I think this is my first time with you.
Yeah, this is, we just restarted the podcast.
Yeah.
We did a podcast about the Toledo show that we went to, and now we are talking about Flite Fest.
Yeah, I love it. And Noah, a huge thank you, because I think this was something like it's been too long. We haven't been doing podcasts. A lot of times we can't unpack things in long format through a video. People will disconnect or it won't give them the whole picture before, the YouTube algorithm says this isn't worth seeing.
Yeah.
So this is a great way to kind of unpack things in long form, talk specifically to the community, and then at the same time, give you guys something that you can go back to and listen again, especially with something like Flite Fest.
Exactly. Yeah, this year is going to be unforgettable.
Oh, yeah. When we talk about history, it's kind of funny because typically it's like, oh, man, this is going to be historical. Like, we always think from a memory standpoint, not just flying the most planes one year or having, the largest electric flying event, but this could be history, and we're believing it will be history because combining and collaborating with the DARPA Lift Challenge, history will hopefully be made.
Hopefully, yeah. And it's, you want to give a brief description of what the DARPA Lift Challenge is going to be?
Yeah, so basically the DARPA Lift Challenge is trying to accomplish solve a problem that will not just change the military, but it'll change the world that we know it. If you remember when the Wright brothers flew powered flight for the first time and proved that it could be done, that showed that the concept of powered flight was realistic and it could be something that could be developed. What DARPA is trying to do with this lift challenge is to accomplish a 4-to-1 lift ratio where if you're going to lift 100 pounds, your aircraft is only going to weigh 25 pounds.
Yeah, and today it's what? Aircrafts usually lift maybe a 1-to-1, not even that?
At the very, very best, it's 1-to-1.
Yeah, so they're literally doing something that everyone thought was impossible.
It's straight up UFO territory, if you ask me. And we think, oh, yeah, well, we have model airplanes that have, sometimes 10-to-1 power ratio, which is on a whole ludicrous level of speed. But it's not scalable up to a weight, beyond 250 pounds. Mm-hmm. So I'm not talking on their behalf, but from what I understand from seeing what they're doing is they're trying to solve this problem where you can have something that weighs very light. In this case, it'll be an aircraft under 55 pounds that can lift over 250 pounds. And it's not just about lifting it, but it's then lifting it and then flying it 5 nautical miles, 4 miles without or with a payload, and then 1 mile without a payload. And there's a lot of different, circumstances that's going to be very valuable. If you think about one thing I can think about, if you think about trying to get humanitarian aid into a country that has no docks or shores, you can take it from the vessel to the shore without needing a dock. We have a lot of natural disasters. Imagine a tsunami takes out a dock and now they can't bring humanitarian aid to it. This kind of stuff and these kind of problems can be solved. And just like DARPA did with the self-driving car challenge or autonomous car challenge, that kind of ushered the way in for people to have self-driving cars that you see today. And it took 2 years for them to accomplish that challenge and have success. So my hope and prayer is that we see history be made. My bigger hope and prayer also is that someone from our community.
Yeah.
So that's what really makes this year's Flite Fest new. It's not just a time where you can come out and do all the things that you remember, building, flying, the combat, demonstrations, STEM, of course, but also we can have our community participate in this challenge, and we can also have them cheer it on and witness it too.
Yeah.
So both of those are going to be going on kind of next to each other, more cattywampus, I should say. One's favoring one direction, one's favoring the other.
Yeah, and the whole nother element on top of this year is you'll be able to come to Flite Fest, do all your normal stuff, with the build tents and flying, but then you'll actually be able to go to the museum.
Yes.
Look at history, past history, but then you'll be able to walk outside and look across the field and see history being made.
Yes.
It's like this awesome evolution
history
of
past and then history to be made.
You're
right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's you guys could be a part of it. And it's I think it's an amazing opportunity this year.
And one of the reasons why we built this relationship is they value our community for just that. They see the engineers, they see the amazing minds, they see people trying to take on flight in ways that are not conventional. And that made it such a perfect match for this because our community already looks at flight as a obstacle to be overcome through any means possible. I mean, that's why we build planes with foam board. It's why we make crazy contraptions. I mean, even last year, I remember seeing like a replica of our Gremlin flying, and it flew fantastic.
Yeah.
Peter's Centipede airplane, 10-wing airplanes, 50-motor airplanes. Like, there's no real rules to what flies. And when something does take off, people celebrate it. And when it crashes, they still celebrate it.
Yeah. So Another thing that we wanted to do in this podcast was answer some kind of questions that the community had.
It's definitely a different thing. Historically, we have had Flite Fest in different locations throughout the history of Flite Fest, but typically it's in our favorite little town, Malvern, Ohio. And we worked really, really hard to try to keep it at this location. DARPA was very passionate about doing just that. They believe in helping local communities as much as we do. But there's no way we were going to be able to fit, 15 to 20,000 people in Malvern, Ohio, despite every single attempt. Leasing more land around the event to give more land to grow. But just the sheer load of campers that we were already tracking towards with just Flite Test, there's no way. We were turning away families last year because we booked up. So it is going to be very different this year. But at the same time, I'm really excited because the people that want to be able to come to this event are going to have a place to come.
Yeah. And it's going to be, like we keep saying, and I'm going to keep saying it, it's going to be an unforgettable event.
Yeah.
If this is also going to be the best year if you haven't come to Flite Fest.
Yeah.
We have more camping than ever. I mean, what?
777 spots. Over 500 spots more than we would have been able to fit into Malvern this year.
That's nuts. And currently, it just opened, well, for us now, last Friday.
Yeah.
But what, we're almost halfway through?
Historically, we have never had a bigger, more positive response of people wanting to be at this event. We've already booked out over 55% of our camping. And keep in mind, that is of what's available at this site. Out of 777 spots. Basically over 400 spots have already been reserved, leaving about 300 and I think 35 spots left. That's huge because if you think about it, that's over 100 spots more. Like we would have been at capacity and saying no to people after maybe day 2 or day 3, which would have truly broke my heart. We had to turn over 90 families away last year that we couldn't get into the grounds. And then obviously we had that storm that kept a lot of people that did register and reserve a spot, that kept them from even get to their spot. So this year to have 777 spots, and also to see the response from the community, how many people are excited to come, it really is warming our heart. But there are a lot of questions because it's a whole different flow. There are some unfortunate, I'll just call it, there's some rules because we're going on an Air Force base that we need to abide by. But when you weigh what we get the opportunity to experience versus what we're giving up, we're hoping we're making the good call to say we want to give you the best experience possible, and we can navigate through those rules. And I'm guessing some of that's probably going to be on the questions that are asked today.
Yeah, one of the biggest questions that people were asking is the pets.
Yeah.
Is because a lot of people, they travel with their pets.
Yeah,
and
it's very
I know
important.
we do, but one main thing that we have to remember is we are hosting Flite Fest this year on an active Air Force base.
Yes.
And so there are rules that we can't really get around. We fought tooth and nail for a lot of things, and we've won a lot of those things.
Yeah,
but
it's something that's truly never been done on this Air Force base, or probably to this scale on any Air Force base. Which, if it goes well, we have something that we can dream to in the future too. But the pets are near and dear. Pets are family. You have a dog and a cat. I have a dog. We know a lot of our community members do too. The museum's policy is what are they called? Those assistance?
Service animals.
Service animals only. And we have a link in our main channel. If you're wondering if your dog qualifies for service animals, you can go to that link and then you can basically say, yeah, my dog does qualify for a service animal. And you can register them well before the event to make sure that you can bring your pets in. They still need to be leashed. You still need to be a responsible pet owner. One scary thing is you can't always guarantee, or you can always guarantee maybe the behavior of your pet, but you can't guarantee the behavior of other pets. So, service animal, they still have to be leashed. But we wanted to make sure that you had plenty of time that if you wanted to look into if your dog is a service animal, if it qualifies for that you can get it registered so you can still bring your pets. You can certainly do so. We're going to be, I think it's HIPAA laws or something. We're not technically permitted to ask about that. We're kind of doing it on the honor system, but please go through the process and register your animal as a service animal if if he or she is applicable for it, and then you can bring your pets, or your service animals.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's one of the changes. The other change that people were having some questions about.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what were they? Night flying.
Night flying, yeah. So again, this is an active base, and the base is monitored, and especially in today's world, Security is through the roof. We're really actually very grateful with where the world is that we were still able to have it on the base. We were wondering if last minute it was going to get the plug pulled. No, they've been wonderful to deal with. But night flying will be going on from basically, I think it's like 8:30 is when it gets dark. Keep in mind, the evenings are getting significantly shorter every day. Typically, Flite Fest in June is held at the longest day of the year, but then it starts counting down pretty quickly. So we're going to have a little bit more nighttime flying than what we would have in June. But at the end of the day, we're going to have from basically night flying time when it starts roughly 8:30 till midnight. That's because the base needs to monitor for security that there's no bad actors, there's nothing that's compromising safety, and there's only a certain limit they can do that till. And we found that basically 90% of all flying activity ended just before midnight. And that's when it was time to kind of go to bed, call it evening, charge your batteries, maybe fix for tomorrow. But I know there's a couple people that say, we fly till 2 in the morning. And, we're sorry, we had to work really hard to be able to give you the opportunity to do night flying, which again is kind of outside the comfort zone for a lot of people on the base. But they were really excited about trying to make every aspect of Flite Test a reality. So the compromise was it stops at night or at midnight.
Yeah. So it's we'll still have night flying. There's quite a bit of night flying too.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's going to be, this is a wide open field. I don't think people realize how big of a flying area it is.
You look at it from the map, it doesn't look that big compared to the area. It is huge. It is way, way bigger than previous locations we had. It's a little bit more reorganized, but the backdrop is going to be beautiful. The flying area is beautiful. We've been out there numerous times to really make sure it can be everything that people want it to be. I look forward to seeing all the photos from this coming year, because having the museum in the background, having that history in the background, and then also the DARPA Lift Challenge going on, it's going to be very unique place. I saw a lot of people that were either military aviation enthusiasts or served in the military that had military planes. They're beyond excited because they get to have a picture of their aircraft on a military base with aviation in the background.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of a really unique thing that just adds to it. But yeah, night flying will happen. And, one of our goals with Flite Fest is to really make the whole experience as inspirational as possible. So it's not just about the people flying, but it's what people witness and get to experience. And, typically the bulk of the flying tapers down, before midnight. Flying onesie twosies during the early morning, that can be something that's reserved till tomorrow or the following morning when the sun starts rising, because most people at that time are in bed. And I do remember also some feedback when we asked the community is some of the flying wings, some of the louder airplanes were a little disruptive after midnight too. So, you got those 80-mile-an-hour wings just cruising up and down the runway. Well, you have a lot of people wanting to sleep too. And just like there's quiet hours, we thought that would be a good compromise to say, okay, after midnight, the crazy slows down, things get quiet so people can get a good night's rest.
Yeah. So the last one that I know I've been seeing a lot of is no golf carts or scooters.
E-bikes and scooters, transportation.
Yeah.
That was a big one. There was this thing we called it the night parade, the light parade. Scooter brigade, yeah. There's lots of names, but it's basically was started, I think, by the Edgewater flight crew, where they started riding their lit up bikes and scooters through the campsite. Back and forth, and then next thing you know, all the kids are joining in, and it became a thing every single year. Again, this is a base, and there's a lot of different rules about safety, but also this is grounds that, there's some pretty big potholes some places. You don't want kids falling in there, and we also want kids to be with their parents during this time, especially in a new location that's a little bit more open, where kids can get lost and wander off a little bit easier than Fury Field. So, one of the rules that they asked us to respect is to no e-bikes, no bikes and stuff. Now, this area is absolutely humongous, and this was a big concern for us because we're like, okay, how do we make this work? What we're working to do is we're getting basically golf cart shuttles, and we'll have volunteers and employees driving these shuttles, and we'll have a system where that, when you're camping, these shuttles will be able to come through, pick up you, your family, and your planes, take you to a drop-off location that's kind of like more show central. So you should find yourself having to walk less, be able to transport your family and your things easier, and then also get back to it. And we took a lot of cues off of what we saw at Oshkosh Air Venture every year, where basically they have a shuttle system, and both in the campgrounds and also inside the event. Now, we don't have that barrier like they do, but at the end of the day, the shuttle system should work. We really care about a lot of our elderly, a lot of our disabled that can't walk very far. And this is a great solution for them. Along with, let's just think about it, like when you have families with young kids, and it's like, let's go ahead and walk 700 feet to Show Central. That's a hike. And by the time you get there, you're tired. This is going to be in the middle of August. We want to get people where they need to be safely. And we know that a lot of people did bring their e-bikes, but a lot of people also had to just walk it.
Yeah.
This is a good compromise, I think, to take care of both the e-bike and the mobility issue, but also to help those families out that need to get to place. Plus, if you look historically with Flite Fest, we've had a lot of rainy days where there's a lot of mud, things are slippery, and people weren't able to use their one wheels or their e-bikes or their golf carts easily anyway. This is a good way to kind of circumvent that, because we'll be able to get loops where they know that it's going to be at a certain place at a certain time, and they can always count on a lift.
Yeah, almost like bus stops.
Yeah, pretty much like bus stops. And we'll have more details as we get closer to the event, exactly how that'll work. You guys have been providing some really great feedback. We read all the comments. We really appreciate the helpful feedback. And I think at the end of the day, we'll be able to take a lot of that and apply that. We really want you to have the most amazing experience, but also not have the stress of, how do I bring all these things? Frankly, the thing I'm going to miss the most, though, is that nighttime, little parade that became such a dear part of it. But we want to protect the core things of what Flite Fest is, and that's connecting families and friends through flight. We're making sure none of that's compromised, from the build tents to the combats to the flying to the demonstrations to the STEM tent and everything in between. So, that's really where our main focus is. And sometimes, some years, because we're in different people's homes, we got to, apply a different set of rules.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we know how much it's important to you guys, how much you guys love it. And hopefully we can bring that back.
Absolutely. And something I'm actually really excited for, I believe Mark and his wonderful wife.
Yeah, Mark and Katie.
Mark and Katie and Lucas and Bob.
Yeah.
They started something a couple years ago, the Learn to Fly tent.
Learn to Fly, yes.
And for the last, I think, 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So the last 2 years, they did
2 or 3 years, yeah.
They did an amazing job training. I mean, when I say hundreds of people.
400 and change was last year.
Yeah, that's out of those. Katie was more of the, she didn't train people. So it was mostly Mark and Bob and Lucas that were training people.
Yeah.
This year, we're scaling up the Learn to Fly tent, right?
Yeah, it's going to actually be its own tent. Like in the past, it was like lawn chairs and an area for them to work, and then we put a little pup tent. This year, there's a full-blown tent where you can register. People can go through the flying experience. They're even going to have like a little takeaway, which will be really cool, saying I got to fly here. And then at the end of the day, we're even getting more volunteers, and we'll talk about volunteers in a second, because this event would not be possible without them. But we're going to scale up the size of this, so we have more people training. We have hopefully more people going through. And this is a real special opportunity for Flite Test and Flite Test family people, because we get to kind of show what Flite Test is all about. And we get to show the full environment to the fullest. And we want to make sure we scale it in a way where someone that maybe likes aviation but doesn't know if they can get into the hobby, where there's no questions left by the time they're done with this experience. They can get into the hobby. This community is awesome. And that we want to make sure we serve them and give them a great experience. So upscaling the Learn to Fly area is really, really important to us. And Mark and Katie, Bob, Lucas, and I'm probably forgetting some people, they give up basically their event and sometimes their airplanes just to give everyone an amazing experience. And hats off to them. It's going to be a really cool experience.
It is. And it's going to be great, because something that we also want to point out is if you aren't a pilot, say you're the wife of a pilot, or say your kids don't really fly, admission is free, correct?
Yeah. So, and this is a first.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing. Is if your family wants to come and there's only a couple pilots in the family, the rest of the family can come in and enjoy the flight, and they can go in the museum where it's nice and air conditioned. That's free. You guys can go down and actually witness like the DARPA flights going on. They're going to have the big Jumbotron possibly up there. And it's just going to be an amazing time, not only for the pilots in the family, but also for the friends, the wives, the sons, the daughters. It's going to be a really great time.
I'm happy you brought that up too. And that's something, we have to, in the past, the camping and the pilot and the spectator registration basically pays for the cost of putting on the event, which is well over $100,000 every year. This is really unique because by doing this collaboration, we're able to actually give back more and make things cheaper. So basically, if you're camping, it's going to cost. If you're flying, it's going to cost. But spectators, I think it's children 9 and under, are going to be free as well too. So that means if your son or daughter are pilots, all they need is a parent with a pilot pass, and they'll get their little pilot pass. They'll be able to fly. And this has been going on for many years, where we've had it with kids. The only thing we ask is that when you fly with children, we want a parent or guardian with a pilot pass present to make sure that they're okay. We want them flying, though. We want them on the flight line as much as possible. So when you think about the families, there's every different dynamic of a family there. And some of them do work all year. They save up like crazy just to come to this one event. And anytime that we can give them more and cost them less makes my heart happy.
Absolutely.
And so the museum will be open. It's air conditioned, by the way. It's one of the most incredible places I've ever visited. You can spend a whole day there, although we do want you out flying and having fun. During the heat of the day when things slow down, it's the perfect time to grab the shuttle, go up to the museum, walk around, and then come back later. So that's gonna be incredible, and it's gonna save families a ton of money.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a great time, and something I want to talk about as well. I got all the questions for you today.
That's good.
So, and you kind of mentioned it a little earlier, is the volunteers.
Yes.
This event, and any Flite Fest event, out of this is going to be the 13th year, 12th, 13th year?
Starting, I think we're going on the 13th year.
13th
they all
year.
blend together because some years we had multiple. So the number of Flite Fests versus the number of years we've been doing are different.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's 12 or 13.
12 or 13 years. So over the 12 or 13 years, we've relied heavily on our amazing volunteers. This is people that, help man the flight line, go, help in the store, build tents, the learn to fly area. This year pretty much not going to be any different. We're going to need your guys' help.
No, in a big, big way. There's a lot more logistically going on. And if you guys do have it in your heart to be a volunteer, every year it seems like it gets to be a more and more finely tuned machine and also more fun for everybody. Hats off, first of all, thank you to each and every one of you, because these people choose to come out to this event, get entry into it, and then basically serve others the whole entire time. And it seems like they're always the ones that have the most fun. Yeah. Dustin did an amazing job last year with how he organized it. And I know a lot of our people that have worked many, many years as volunteers are now mentors. In other words, they're not managers, but they're leaders that are investing time and knowledge, sharing how to do it. And those people really stepped up in a big way to basically become mentors. And we changed that name on purpose. It used to be the Red Shirts or the Flight Crew. And then we use the term mentorship more. It's more relational. But also, we want them to eventually be able to say, I think I want to enjoy the event for a couple of years, and to pass on all their wisdom to other people that can then grow as well, too. With Flite Test, it's not just about flying, obviously. It's about giving people experiences and helping them with knowledge. We want to keep that exact same philosophy with how people volunteer, how people share knowledge, even when it comes to doing events. So thank you to all the mentors. Thank you to all the volunteers. And if you want to be a volunteer, we have, I think, even more of a streamlined process that's being developed, or it has been developed. So just go to flitefest.com, say, I want to be a volunteer. It lets you kind of pick out your passions, and it goes from there, and then people will be talking to you. Plus, there's a really cool perk, too. Volunteers have a window of time where the following year, so this is 2026 and 2027, when Flite Fest camping opens, they get a window of opportunity to get camp spots. So they get early access to camp spots, which is a really wonderful perk. So, if you've never volunteered before and you know that you want to do this, this is a really great way to know the next year you get to be getting one of those more coveted, closer spots in a ever-growing event.
Yeah, and also when, I know some people think, if I volunteer, I'm going to be giving away my whole entire event.
No.
It's not volunteering for the whole entire event, 9 to 5. It's not like that.
Some people amazingly just choose, I just want to do this whole event, and their reward is a different type of blessing. But yeah, we're not asking you to give up your whole experience. What is it? Is it 3-hour shifts?
believe
3 or
it's
4 hour shifts.
3 or 4 hours. We might be lying about that, but when
the
you
details
sign
are
up
on the website.
yeah, when you sign up, you'll see all those details. And I have to give it to Dustin. Last year he did an amazing job, and this year he's heading up the volunteers again. He just has a passion for not only people, but just making sure that people enjoy the event, that they're taken care of. I mean, he's a rock star.
Yeah, his he has a great organizational mind, but also his background in ministry and ministry events really shows with how he can help serve people, encourage people, lead people, and at the same time make sure they have time with their friends and families as well too.
Yeah, so it's a lot of great things happening this year, and I'm really excited to essentially see how this year turns out because this is, again, history being made. And I want to keep iterating that because it's on a active military base. It's an Air Force base. You got the museum there. You got I know Trevor is really excited. He has some awesome plans for STEM.
It's the biggest STEM. We put more into STEM this year than any other year, and the tent's going to just be jam-packed. I think it's the largest STEM tent we've ever had too, which is wonderful. So that means we can have the workshops, we can have all the different activities around education going on, and to put it in there will be really cool. One thing I was going through the comments too, a lot of people had questions like, is there going to be pumping, for the RVs, and is there going to be water delivery? Yes, we're working on all that. We know that there's going to be, it's going to be difficult. You can't just come in and out as easy as other events, but also we don't want you to have to, especially if it's a wetter event. We want you to get in there and stay. And just like previous years, we're going to work on having that pumping in the water going through. Someone made a comment, asking about fuel. And I think, and I can't promise this, but that was a really great feedback, thinking, if we can get a fuel truck to drive through and fuel, that'd be great. But as of right now, we haven't figured out whether we can do that. There is a reality, because it's a base, there's a certain amount of time during the night when the gates are closed. So if you're gone during that time and you don't get in, you're not getting in. Similar to Oshkosh, I believe, where the gates, I think, were closed for like Camp Scholar at certain times. But there's also, some people choose to take that middle of the night to go out and to get fuel and stuff. You'll definitely want to plan around that, but we're trying to look ahead to see if any of those problems can be solved creatively, like having a fuel truck driving through. And as we get closer to the event, we'll be able to share more details. But rest easy. I think water and pumping is a definite must. It will be there, and we'll be able to share, how that works and the process for that. I'm trying to think of any other things. One big thing I saw that really upset a lot of people, but I just kind of want to put it in context, was FPV, first-person view.
Yes.
You're going to hear us say this is an active military base many, many, many times.
Many times.
But the reality is it is. And with everything going on with spying on bases, things like that, we cannot be part of the problem. We have to be part of the solution. And for them to give us the ability to even do this event on this is pretty special. We love FPV, but we also recognize that FPV can be used for some pretty bad things. Even recording from the air can show visual elements on the base on the other side that strictly are prohibited, that are not meant for non-military people to see. We want to respect that. And we also want to protect our country and not compromise anything in our country. We are working on some creative solutions that plainly, it won't be FPV outside. But we are working on some things that we'll hopefully be able to share with you on some alternatives we can give you that will make the experience even better. And as we get closer to the event, we will. But we hear you. It's frustrating, but also we love this country. We love safety of this country. And we had to kind of pick and choose our battles. This is one thing I thought, basically 95% of the community flies line of sight. We want to make sure that they can still do that, and then maybe we can find a creative solution for FPV in a different way. So we are working on that, but just know this is not something that, ask forgiveness, not permission. This is monitored by the military. This is strictly enforced. Please, please, please don't be one of those people that say, you know what, I'm going to do it and see what happens, because it won't be a good result for you or for us. So please honor that, respect that. If you come only for the FPV, rest assured next year we'll have FPV back. And, we look forward to seeing you then. But I think the overwhelming majority of our community enjoys many different aspects of flight. This is just one that we can't have outside. So please respect that. We're in someone else's home. They're giving us a lot of trust. We don't want to break that trust or compromise our country, frankly. Perfect. I'm trying to think of, I don't want to just get surface level. I want to really talk to people that maybe don't like change as much and kind of give them some of the deeper reasons why too. I probably in the comments you've read many different times that, Flite Fest is more than a location, it's an experience. And we have a community from all over the country and all over the world, and also people that we want to make family as well too. And we owe it to them that if they want to get into this event, if they want to participate in this event, I want a spot for them. Something that really grieved me last year and made my heart sad was there's over 90 different families that wanted to come, that were on that waiting list, that sadly we couldn't get into the event. They would have to come in as spectators, but they couldn't come in like they want to and camp out. Along with that too, we could only hold so many people in attendance. Combine that with the challenges we had last year with what I don't know what you want to call it. It was more than a mud fest. It was quite an awesome
Hurricane Fest, maybe.
Microburst Fest, I guess you could call it.
Yep.
If anyone doesn't know, last year we had one of the most crazy experiences with the destruction of probably half of our tents.
Yeah.
It was our big build tent, and then the family tent.
No, it took down both build tents.
That's right. Both build tents, over 50% of our tents gone. Mm-hmm. Really, if you look at it, probably 2/3 of our tents when you look at square footage. But it was God working, because at the end of the day, nobody was injured. People literally went running out as that thing was collapsed down. And I think there's even a couple people underneath that were not injured, but that the tent went down on. That was terrifying.
Yeah.
You combine also the fact that we had to pull people to their spots, and many people weren't able to get to their spots that paid for it. That's terribly sad. Mm-hmm. And we sought this year to be able to develop the land a little bit different, put a road in that could go into, give like a cross drive, and then also lease more land so we could have more people. Many people probably aren't aware that the south side of Fury Field has been developed for houses. Mm-hmm. So that's roughly about 1/3 of our camping that's just no longer available. But we didn't want to just have less people be able to come. I think it caps us down, even with the health department rules, to roughly like 220 spots at the very, very most.
Yeah.
We're already over 400 spots.
Yeah. So everyone that's signing up from, even
day
before,
one, day two.
Day one, day two, after that, we wouldn't have had room for them at the old location, which it's a real blessing that this came along when it did.
Yeah.
Because it gives us opportunity just to open up the, these grounds to get as many amazing FT family members on the ground to enjoy the event.
This Flite Test isn't for the classes, it's for the masses. Mm-hmm. And I don't want it to be contingent on who can pay enough for a camp spot. I don't want to be contingent on first come, first serve. I want it to be, if you have a pulse and you want to come, I want you there. And that's something really near. But also, I don't only want you there, but I want you in a place where we can get you to your camp spot. We can give you every aspect of the experience. Now, that being said, I wouldn't trade last year for anything, because it was the best picture and the best testimony to the quality of what our community is. We were completely decimated, and then within, I think, 4.5 hours, the place was rebuilt. It was truly monumental. Everybody just stopped what they're doing. I mean, many people didn't even clean up their own campsites. They resurrected the build tents. Arise Tent Rental, who, by the way, is still doing the tents at Flite Fest this year. They stepped up in a big way. They brought new tents out, and we were back in the swing of things. But there were still probably 50, 60 different RV spots that were never able to be filled, where the people just didn't come. And then counting Flite Fest here, or the spots here, which was completely booked, all the amazing churches that opened up their parking lots. I think Malvern First Christian was one of them, and I think there was Vicky's Church was another. Tons of people stepped up. It's something I want to celebrate, but I don't ever want to repeat, if that makes sense. Yes. We know that you guys have the heart to resurrect. We know that you guys have the heart to build again. But I want you guys to come out with your friends and family. I want you to build. I want you to fly. And if we ever have a situation where we need to come together again to rebuild or regroup, I know we have it. But I don't want to make that part of the equation. Now, does that mean that we're not going back to Malvern ever again? No. My heart is to keep the history of what is in Malvern in Malvern. And even if it's a Fall Fest or something like that, where it's a smaller event, or we find a way to make the full Flite Fest and we can lease more land to the east of it, and maybe re-explore that, I would love to see this whole event at Fury Field moving towards the future. It's just the reality of having this opportunity to do something historical, to have unlimited camping, and to really touch a lot of new hearts and new people that would never know anything about Flite Fest. that to me is really important. So, you know, we've moved Flite Fest to Florida, we've moved it to Texas, we've moved it to California, and it's been wonderful. We owe it to you guys to give you exactly what you want, but also to make sure every aspect of what we do can be protected for everybody that wants to participate. So that's a call that I made personally, you know, when we were looking through this. I hope it's the right call, but we'll find out. But looking on the big picture, lives are going to be changed.
Yeah.
And that's what really matters to me. And if you want to come, there's going to be a place for you.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do more of these podcasts. This isn't going to be the last one. As we get closer and closer to Flite Fest, we're going to have more and more details to share, more awesome events that we're going to do. And I really want to grab Dustin. And so he could talk about like the volunteers and stuff.
Behind the scenes. A lot got changed up last year and it worked out really good.
So I want to pull him in on a podcast. But guys, put in the comments below. Send us messages. Support our Flite Test. Any questions that you guys have. And we'll try to answer it on podcast.
Yep. And I'm going to be a hypocrite now. I'm sorry. I said, you know, we want everyone that can come to come. The fact that we're over 55% full right now and there's only 45% of the camping left, don't diddle-dally. This has so much good energy around it. If you're on the fence on whether you want to come or not, please take the time to reserve your spots now, because I do have 100% confidence that it will fill up still.
Yes.
The only difference is it'll be, you know, way more people that are able to fill it up. So don't wait till the last minute. If you want to come and it's in your heart to come, reserve your spot. If you want to volunteer, reserve your spot. Take that action now, so that way you don't have to be scrambling later or looking for a place to camp. There's, by the way, a really amazing KOA down the road. So if maybe you want full hookup or shower houses similar to what was it called, Paradise Lake? Or
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. The camping place just down the road from Malvern. There's a similar situation with the KOA in Dayton. I heard it's one of the most beautiful KOAs around. So if you want full hookup, air conditioning, a place to rest and relax that's off-site, and just know that you can do that as well too.
Sounds good. So again, give us any questions that you guys have. We can't wait to make this year the most special year that we've had, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we miss you guys a lot.
So we'll see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.
You're going to put the little websites, flitefest.com and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah. It'll be down in the description below. Cool. It'll be Flite Fest 2026 will be the website to look at. We got a bunch of information there about the museum, about camping, volunteers, pretty much everything that you guys need to know will be on there.
I love it. So, love you guys.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.